Most people think they're behind because they don't earn enough, or invest enough, or started too late. But what if I told you that none of that is actually the real reason they stayed broke? Right now, while you're watching this, there is a silent force in the financial system that is either building wealth for someone or quietly draining it from them, second by second, day by day. And the most dangerous part? Almost nobody notices it until it's already too late to change the outcome. Because this force doesn't care how smart you are, it doesn't care how hard you work, and it definitely doesn't care about your salary. It only cares about one thing: time. And once you understand how it really works, you will realize something uncomfortable. Every year you ignored it, you didn't just miss money. You may have lost decades of future wealth you can never get back. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly how ordinary people quietly become millionaires using something so simple. Most people dismiss it as basic math. And that's exactly why they lose. If this hit you even a little bit, then don't treat this as just another video you watched and forgot. This channel is built for people who are serious about changing their financial future. Not with hype, but with real, practical knowledge that actually compounds over time, just like the topic we just talked about. So if you feel like this message is speaking directly to you, then make it official. Subscribe right now, because I'm going to keep uploading content like this, breaking down how money really works, how wealth is quietly built, and how ordinary people turn small decisions into life-changing results. And honestly, if you don't subscribe, you might just keep missing the exact kind of information that could have changed everything for you. So go ahead, join the channel now. I'll be uploading more videos on this same topic and similar powerful financial truths. So if you're here for growth, you're in the right place. There is something happening right now that most people are not paying attention to. While everyone is focused on the stock market, on crypto, on the next big thing, a quiet financial force is working in the background, and it has been working for hundreds of years. It is not new. It is not exciting. It does not go viral. But it is turning ordinary, everyday people into millionaires. And the crazy part is, most of them are not doing anything dramatic. They are not taking big risks. They are not working 80 hours a week. They are simply understanding one idea. One powerful idea that the majority of people never truly grasp. That idea is compound interest. Now, you have probably heard the term before. Maybe in school, maybe from a financial advisor, maybe in passing. But hearing about it and really understanding it, feeling it in your bones, are two completely different things. Because once you truly get it, once you see what it actually does over time, you will never think about money the same way again. And that shift in thinking is exactly what is quietly creating a new wave of millionaires across this country and around the world. Let's start at the very beginning. What is compound interest, really? In the simplest terms, it is earning interest on your interest. When you put money into a savings account or an investment, you earn a return on that money. That is straightforward. But then something special happens. That return gets added to your original amount. And now the next round of growth is calculated on the bigger total. So you are not just growing your original money. You are growing your money plus everything it has already earned. And then you grow all of that again. And again. And again. It does not sound like a big deal at first. And that is exactly why most people miss it. The beginning is slow. Almost painfully slow. If you invest $1,000 at a 10% annual return, after 1 year you have $1,100. After 2 years, you have $1,210. That is only a $10 difference from simple interest in year 2. People look at that and shrug. They think, big deal? But they are not seeing the full picture. They are looking at the first few frames of a movie and deciding the whole story is boring. Here is where it gets interesting. After 10 years at that same 10%, your $1,000 has grown to about $2,590. You have more than doubled your money without adding a single extra dollar. After 20 years, you are sitting at about $6,727. After 30 years, $17,449 from $1,000 that you put in once and did nothing with. That is the power of compound interest. It starts slow, almost invisibly slow, and then it explodes. The growth curve does not go in a straight line. It curves upward, sharper and sharper as the years go on. The longer it runs, the more dramatic it becomes. This is what mathematicians call exponential growth, and it is genuinely one of the most powerful forces in the natural world. And when you apply it to money, it creates something that feels almost like magic. Albert Einstein. And yes, this quote has been debated, but the idea stands regardless of who said it. Reportedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He said those who understand it earn it, and those who do not pay it. That second part is just as important as the first. Compound interest works both ways. It can build your wealth, or it can slowly crush you under the weight of debt. Credit card companies understand this perfectly. That is why they love minimum payments. They want you paying the minimum so that the interest keeps compounding against you, month after month, year after year. But today we are talking about using this force in your favor. And the people who are quietly becoming millionaires? They figured out 3 things. Just 3. And none of them require a genius-level IQ or a finance degree or a rich family. The first is starting early. The second is staying consistent. The third is leaving it alone. Let's talk about starting early, because this one changes everything. The single most important variable in compound interest is time. Not how much you invest. Not which exact fund you pick. Time. The longer your money has to compound, the more dramatic the result. There is a famous comparison that shows this perfectly. Imagine 2 people. We will call them Alex and Jordan. Alex starts investing at age 25. He puts in $200 a month for 10 years, then stops completely and never adds another dollar. Jordan waits until age 35 to start, then invests $200 a month for 30 years straight, all the way until retirement at 65. Jordan invested 3 times as long and put in 3 times as much money. But if both are earning the same average return, Alex still ends up with more money. Why? Because Alex's money had more time to compound. Those extra 10 years at the beginning are worth more than 30 years later on. That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. That is the math of compound interest. This is why the new wave of millionaires being created right now skews young. Not because young people are smarter, but because some of them have started to understand this concept in their 20s and even their teens. They are not buying luxury cars. They are not going on lavish vacations. They are quietly putting money away and letting time do the work. They will not see the dramatic results for decades, but those results are coming. The seed was planted, and compound interest is doing the rest. But here is the thing. You do not have to be young to benefit. If you are 35, 45, even 55, the principle still works. You just need to start now. Not next month. Not after the holidays. Not when things settle down. Now. Because every single month you wait is a month of compounding you will never get back. There is a saying in financial circles. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. That is not just a motivational poster quote. It is a mathematical truth. Now let's talk about staying consistent, because this is where most people fall apart. They get excited, they open an investment account, they put in some money, and then life happens. The car needs repairs. The roof starts leaking. There is a wedding to attend. And slowly, the contributions stop. Or they see the market drop and panic. They pull their money out at exactly the wrong moment, locking in their losses and missing the recovery. Consistency is what separates the people who build real wealth from the people who almost build real wealth. The trick is to make it automatic. Do not rely on willpower or memory or motivation. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your investment account on the same day every month, ideally the day after your paycheck hits. You will not miss money you never see. This is called paying yourself first, and it is one of the most powerful financial habits you can develop. The people who are quietly becoming millionaires are not thinking about investing every month. They set it up once, and it just runs. And here is what automatic investing does beautifully. It takes emotion out of the equation. When the market drops, you keep investing. That is actually a good thing, because you are buying more shares at lower prices. When the market rises, you keep investing. Over time, this smooths out the highs and lows and gives you a solid average cost. This strategy is called dollar cost averaging, and it is not glamorous, but it works. Consistently, reliably, over decades it works. The third thing, and this one is psychologically the hardest, is leaving it alone. Do not touch it. Do not borrow against it. Do not cash it out when you switch jobs. Do not move it around every time you read a scary financial headline. Let it sit and compound. Every time you interrupt the compounding cycle, you are not just losing that money. You are losing all the future growth that money would have generated. When you pull $10,000 out of an investment account at age 40, you are not just losing $10,000 from your retirement. You might be losing $50,000 or $100,000 in future compounding. This is why the millionaires being built quietly by compound interest tend to be patient people. Not passive, patient. They are paying attention. They understand what they own. But they are not reacting to every piece of news. They know that the market goes up and the market goes down. And over long periods of time, it has always gone up more than it has gone down. They trust the process. Let's talk about where compound interest works best, because location matters. A regular savings account at most banks today is paying somewhere between 0 and 2% interest. That is not nothing, but it is not going to make you a millionaire. The real compounding power comes from investing in things that have historically provided higher returns over time. Things like broad market index funds, which track the overall stock market. Over the last 100 years or so, the American stock market has returned an average of roughly 7 to 10% annually after adjusting for inflation, depending on the exact time frame you look at. That is the engine. Compound interest is the fuel. Tax-advantaged accounts make that engine even more powerful. A Roth IRA, for example, lets your money grow completely tax-free. You put in after-tax dollars, and when you retire and withdraw, you owe nothing to the government on all the growth. None. Imagine compounding your way to $500,000 inside a Roth IRA. All of that is yours. A 401k, especially if your employer matches contributions, is essentially free money layered on top of compound interest. If your employer matches 50 cents on every dollar, you contribute up to 6% of your salary. That is an instant 50% return on that portion before compounding even begins. These accounts exist specifically to encourage people to use compound interest to build retirement security. And yet millions of Americans are not maximizing them, or not using them at all. They are leaving one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in history sitting on the table. Now let's be honest about what compound interest is not. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It is the exact opposite. It is a get-rich-slowly strategy. And that slowness is actually a feature, not a bug, because it is sustainable and reliable in a way that fast money never is. The people chasing the next hot stock tip, the next crypto launch, the next viral investment trend, most of them lose. Some win big temporarily, then give it all back. A small number genuinely hit it right and build wealth, but they are the exception, not the rule. Meanwhile, the quiet investors, the ones compounding steadily in broad market funds over decades, they are winning. Not dramatically, not in a way that makes a great story at a party, but in a very real, very permanent, life-changing way. There is something else worth understanding about the new wave of millionaires that compound interest is creating. They do not look like what most people imagine when they hear the word millionaire. They are not driving Ferraris or wearing designer clothes. They are the school teacher who maxed out her retirement account for 30 years. They are the electrician who invested a portion of every paycheck starting at age 22. They are the grocery store manager who never earned a six-figure salary, but never stopped contributing either. They are what researchers call prodigious accumulators of wealth. Ordinary income, extraordinary discipline, and the understanding that time and compound interest do the heavy lifting. Economist and author Thomas Stanley spent decades studying millionaires in America and found that the majority of them were not flashy. They were not in high-paying industries. Many of them drove used cars and lived in modest homes. What set them apart was their relationship with money. Specifically, their habit of investing consistently and leaving that investment alone to grow. Compound interest was the silent partner in almost every one of their stories. So what does this mean for you right now today? It means that whatever your age, whatever your income, whatever mistakes you have made with money in the past, the door is not closed. It is still open. Compound interest does not care about your history. It only cares about what happens from this moment forward. Every dollar you put into a smart, low-cost investment today begins compounding immediately. Every year that passes increases the distance between doing something and doing nothing. The people becoming millionaires quietly right now, they made a decision at some point. Maybe it was a big dramatic moment, or maybe it was just a Tuesday afternoon when they sat down and set up an automatic transfer. But they made the decision to use time and compound interest as their allies instead of their enemies. They stopped spending compound interest on debt and started earning compound interest on investments. That shift, simple as it sounds, is the whole thing. You do not need to be born into money. You do not need to win the lottery. You do not need a trust fund or a six-figure income or a financial genius as a best friend. You need time, consistency, and the discipline to leave your money alone. Compound interest does the rest. That is why it is quietly building a new wave of millionaires, and that wave is open to anyone willing to start.